Did you know that the lines and the wrinkles on your face can actually tell you about the state of your internal emotional health? My name is Kate Colley, and I help people face their deepest, darkest shadows and their deepest, darkest emotions within so that they can expand and evolve into complete, pure freedom. Welcome to my channel. I am a certified face reader, and this is a really beautiful practice because it allows me to read my own face as a tool for self-awareness and to read other people's faces to give me this really vast array of information as to what might be repressed emotionally, what that person might be having difficulty processing on an emotional level. And this is all really important because when you're not processing your emotions that are trying to come through your body, they end up stagnating. And a couple different things can happen when your emotions stagnate. One is that your emotions that are stagnated end up being projected onto your relationships, your circumstances, manifested into your life. And a lot of times we don't even know what emotions are repressed within us. So face reading gives us the opportunity to really look at that. And another thing that can happen, and this is according to my own belief systems in my practice with clients and my personal experiences, is that when emotions are stagnated for long enough, the energetic vibration of emotions becomes denser and denser and denser until eventually it can form into illness or disease. So I view face reading as this really beautiful tool to kind of unlock and unearth, well, what's really going on under the surface? Let me preface this with I do not use face reading to judge other people, and it's not 100% accurate for all people. I find it to be wildly accurate and wildly informative. However, it's not going to be true for everyone. I did get completely torn apart on TikTok with some of my face reading videos for people thinking that I was being judgmental. That is not the case. It's a loving tool of self-awareness. So when you experience an emotion, your face creates a micro expression. This is an expression that happens really quickly, and it's almost unperceivable. When you have repressed emotions, you might be making micro expressions over and over and over and over again. And what this does is actually creates a lot of the lines and wrinkles on your face. According to traditional Chinese medicine, if you're familiar with that concept at all, you know that there are different meridian systems throughout our bodies. And in those meridian systems, they're correlated with different organs, and those organs are correlated with different emotions. So oftentimes lines and wrinkles will appear on your face that are actually correlated to the specific emotions of the meridian that it passes through. So let's talk about some of these more common wrinkles that you might have so that you can have a beautiful self-compassionate self-reflection of what you might be repressing. And you can also help your loved ones if you notice that they have some of these lines. So if you take a look at this part of your eye, you'll notice a lot of people have lines that come up and lines that come down. If you have a line that comes up and it comes up really far, that's actually considered excessive joy, almost to the point of mania. If there's a line that's coming down to about right here, that's typically indicative of some kind of unresolved sadness. Now, if you see that line and it actually continues down here, it passes right through the lung channel, the lung meridian channel of your body, and this is actually repressed grief. So people that have this line on a physical level probably experience some type of lung health issue. You can really address this by looking into where are you holding on to grief from the past? What have you not grieved well enough? And oftentimes people think of grief as having to do with a lost person. Grief could actually have to do with a lost concept or a lost part of yourself. The grief of not having the childhood that you really needed and really desired. We can grieve for all types of different reasons. Along those same lines, there's another line that comes from your inner canthus right here, and it kind of comes like this and goes down. It often travels right into grief. Sometimes it comes a little bit more like this. This is called a lost love line, and this line can be indicative that there's a part of you that you have let go of somewhere along the way. Maybe you really liked horses as a young child, and for whatever reason you had to give up your horse and you had to move, and you were almost coerced into this reality where you had to part with such an important part of yourself, or maybe a purpose that you felt called to and life took you in a different direction. That's going to appear as a lost love line, and it's very important to start questioning if you have that line. what part of yourself you've lost so that you can empower yourself relative to that situation and reclaim that part of yourself to the light and the truth of who you are. There are also lines you see quite often in between people's eyebrows. If there's two lines there, or if they're kind of, separated like this a bit, that can indicate that the person has some amount of impatience or frustration going on in their lives that they've maybe repressed and they're not totally owning. Now, if there's just one line, that's called a suspended needle. It kind of comes like this. And often that can be indicative of repressed anger. So there's been a disassociation from your own anger. Oftentimes those people will say, I'm not an angry person. And this comes from not having the experience early in childhood of being able to sit with and be with your anger in a healthy way. It doesn't mean that you are an unhealthy individual. It's no judgment. It's not saying that anger is bad at all, just something to kind of look at for your self-awareness. Another line that you see quite often, especially on mothers, so pay attention to it, is a bunch of little lines that appear right here. They go up and down, and those lines are considered over-nurture lines, so they can be very indicative of giving and giving without getting enough in return, or having the expectation that you're going to get something in return and it never happens. And so it creates this sensation of being overly nurturing. You'll often see these lines in conjunction with lines coming down here from the bottom of your lip going up and down. And these are bitterness lines. This is holding on to repressed bitterness. These go together because they start with over nurture. And essentially, if you are somebody or you know somebody that is over nurturing, oftentimes you're doing it to try to get a need met. Maybe you want to feel valid, you want to feel important, you want to be seen, you want to be validated for the efforts that you're putting forth. But if you're over nurturing, it usually means that it's not coming back in return, and that can in turn create bitterness down here. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, that's just from, smoking or something like that. Well, there's usually an emotional underlying reason as to why you're smoking, because that is used as a coping mechanism to cope with something emotional. So you see how we can kind of start to tie this all together. Emotional health is absolutely one of my favorite topics ever to talk about. And if you want to learn more about emotional health, if you have some of these lines on your face, or if you know people that have lines on your face that I've talked about today, go ahead and sign up for my free emotional health course below. You're going to absolutely love it. It's going to give you so many tools and insights into how to feel your emotions, what to do with your emotions, so that you can really live in complete freedom. That is what I want for you. It's a beautiful place to be. So sign up for free. The link will be in the comments and also in the description. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I have so much more I want to share with you around face reading and about emotional health. Make sure you like this video, and please go ahead and comment. Let me know what you think. I like all the feedback. I want to connect with you. I can't wait to see you again soon, and I hope you enjoy the free course.